Of course, my neighbor just pulled in. He left his vehicle running.
Great.
I never felt so free in the choices of my life.
Hello. Welcome to The Accidental Activist. I'm Chanda, the serious blonde. And tonight we are going to cover hashtag Brickgate. I've got Oz Lefebvre with me, pulling up the slides, and he's going to chat when I need him. Oh, let me get that turned down so we don't have back feed. So let me see. I'm going to let the chat kind of come in. Hi, chat. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. I love it. We always see Melissa. She is so wonderful.
I know. She's so
Melissa,
wonderful.
You're always with us, Melissa. We wouldn't know what to do without you in there.
You're right. All of them. Yeah. I wouldn't know what to do without all of them.
They're great. They're great. And what else are we doing? We're doing something different tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm kind of stalling a little bit just to let our Rockfin live feed get up in prime. So we are live on Facebook, Rockfin, and YouTube tonight.
Oh my God. Oz can multitask? Woo. What the hell? Who knew? Who knew?
I knew. Yeah. I knew. So we're going to get into hashtag Brickgate. I'm sure some of you have heard about this. Pallets of bricks being left at protest and rally sites across the country. And we're not talking just maybe DC or maybe Chicago. We're talking 40 cities so far that have claimed to have found pallets of bricks or piles of bricks, suspiciously close to where they know that protesters are going to be. So we're going to go ahead and roll into the first clip. I got a whole bunch of clips for you guys. Basically what I did was I went down the rabbit hole, and any clip I thought that would be important for you guys to see, I pulled it, and we're just going to roll clips, and you guys can form your own opinion about what's really going on.
Thursday night at the movies. I love
it.
How about some sound on that clip? There we go.
Yeah, sound would be
building back the city. These guys got a cart full of bricks. Chat, would you assume that these people are rebuilding? They're rebuilding the city with these bricks.
Them bricks, bro. We are protesting. Shit crazy. Some random ass bricks, bro. Ain't no construction. Ain't no construction, bro. Just some random ass bricks sitting here.
Look, there's another pile of these random ass bricks. That's what they did in Atlanta. That's what they did in Dallas. They set that shit up. That's like an invitation.
This right here?
Yeah, they put them there.
This the setup.
I like this one. This is a good one.
Bricks? What the fuck are those?
Those look like bricks. Look, yeah, those are fucking bricks. What the fuck?
Wow.
And so what that comment at the very end where it said, just like guns, they're leaving bricks. Some of us saw video about 2 years ago of crates of guns being dropped off in the poorer districts of Chicago. And, they'd go out there and there'd just be a crate of guns. And most people that understand what's going on in Chicago knows they have really tight gun laws. And so all of a sudden these crates of guns are showing up. So that's what they were comparing that to. And so you might have noticed in those clips, there was quite a few different cities that had videos of, people just walking by and there's a pile of bricks. There is no construction anywhere near. These are not like, oh, well, they're building a building, so they brought them in. These are literally set out in the middle of downtown cities, next to bus stops, next to where they know these protesters are going to be. So lots of commentary has been going on in the media about this because it's getting around these live streams. So, you got to have a well-rounded view of what's going on and what everybody is thinking. So we're going to go to our Fox News and see what their theory is on this.
Okay, Fox.
One story that is continuing to alarm citizens around the country, the mysterious appearance, get this, pile of bricks literally being stationed near the sites where these protests and riots ultimately become. They're staging it. Joining us now to report on that disturbing story, he's in our West Coast Bureau tonight, our chief breaking news correspondent, Trace Gallagher. So they're literally staging weapons that they're going to use that evening to throw the bricks at the cops, Trace? Is that how we interpret that? Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's the belief, Sean. I mean, you have these piles of bricks and rocks showing up, as you said, near the various protest sites in cities like New York, Kansas City, Dallas, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And none of the sites are near construction areas, leaving many to assume the bricks were planted by outside agitators specifically to stir up trouble. In fact, the New York Police Department says it has evidence that anarchist groups were pushing the protest toward violence and vandalism. Federal law enforcement officials say the violence points to far left groups like Antifa. Others say far right groups might also be involved. And many of the looters don't need to be supplied with bricks and rocks because they show up with their own tools in hand, well prepared to destroy property.
All right.
Police in Minneapolis also found caches of stolen vehicles and incendiary devices in areas where numerous fires have broken out. And in Baltimore, there's evidence of double danger. Police have been sweeping the downtown area after, get this, finding both bricks and bottles with potential accelerants already inside them. But instead of being left out in the open piles, these potential weapons are kind of being hidden in small areas, though it's unclear if they are associated with the protests or groups on either side of the spectrum. Sean.
All right, Trace Gallagher, thank you.
Wait a second. Wait. I have a bone to pick here. Besides it's Fox noise, weren't the ones hurtling the accelerants, according to our friend Hunter Bryce the other day? Wasn't it a cop that was caught with a Molotov cocktail in his hand?
Exactly. The first building that was torched, we know, was a cop from the next town over.
Yeah, and that was AutoZone. He must have really been pissed off at them for something, I guess.
Yeah, and there is a video out there where they're accosting him. Who are you? You're a cop. What are you doing here? Why are you doing this? So, if you're following these, it just blows their narrative straight out of the water. But I love how they say it's anarchists and Antifa, the far left, because the far left is so radical.
Yeah, well, yeah, and don't let it Fox News. I mean, this is not your choice of mainstream media.
Right? No. But like I said, to have a well-rounded opinion of what's happening in the world, I go to all sources. I spend a lot of time watching overseas media, because we know that the United States media machine is just, exactly that. It's a corporate machine. So if you really want a well-rounded picture, you got to check in on what everybody is saying. So we're going to keep doing that. But will you pull up my first slide? Or I think it's my second slide.
Let me see if I can find you a slide. Did you give me slides?
I did, but you know what? I put the link in the rundown like I'm supposed to.
Oh, my God in heaven. What the hell's wrong? You better fire your engineer and get somebody else. I can't do this. Is this your first slide right here? Is that it? Brick?
No, that's just my slide card.
Slide? Don't be a sucker. Is that it?
Don't be a sucker is where we're starting. Don't be a sucker.
Don't be a sucker.
So, we've all heard that they're blaming Antifa for this, right? Mm-hmm. That it's Antifa that's out there causing these problems. It's burning down buildings and causing rioting and, planting these bricks, even though it's quite funny since they are not an actual organization. I'm not sure where they're getting the funding for the $7 a brick. It's not like these bricks are cheap. I actually looked into the price of a pallet of bricks. Somebody's got to be coming up with the hundreds of dollars to drop these bricks in these cities. Yeah. So, what they always say, follow the money. But we're gonna backtrack. I kind of digressed a little bit. We're gonna talk about Don't Be a Sucker. Don't Be a Sucker was a anti-fascist Antifa pro movie that was put out by the War Department in 1947. So we're just going to run a little clip for you. You can find the whole movie on Netflix. And I'm sure some of you have seen clips of it before. If you want to, yeah, there we go.
Some of the best things are from that era. So
They are. They were wise. They were the greatest generation,
yes,
right?
they were. How about some sound? Okay, there we go.
Just an average American. But I'm an American. And some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign ample money. I see Negroes holding jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
The truth about Negroes and foreigners. The truth about the Catholic Church.
Do you believe in that kind of talk?
All makes pretty good sense to me. And I tell you, friends, we'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without. Without what? Yeah, without what? Without Negroes. Without alien foreigners. Without Catholics. Without Freemasons. You know Masons.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason. Hey, that fellow's talking about me.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies. These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us.
Before he said Masons, you were ready to agree with him.
Well, yes, but he was talking about... What about those other people?
But in this country, we have no other people. We are American people.
What about you? You aren't American, are you?
I was born in Hungary, but now I am an American citizen. And I have seen what this kind of talk can do. I saw it in Berlin. I heard the same words we have heard today. But I was a fool then. I thought Nazis were crazy people, stupid fanatics. But unfortunately, it was not so. You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups. They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Of course, that was not easy to do. They had to work hard to do it. You see, we human beings are not born with prejudices. Always they are made for us. Made by someone who wants something. Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody is going to get something out of it. And it isn't going to be you.
Exactly. Remember, when you hear this talk, somebody's going to get something out of it, and it ain't going to be you. You know, his line in there where he says, oh, we just thought they were idiots and radical, but, you know, harmless about the Nazis, right? Remind you of anything, Oz?
Yeah, I think that I think this is the tape they play at the White House. I honest to God, that was really, I haven't seen this before, so I'm glad you showed it, because they're selling the same bullshit. That was kind of like an anti-propaganda film. Is that what?
Right. That's exactly what it was. So if you want to hit my next slide, it relates to it. It should have Wonder Woman on it.
Woohoo! There she is. That's not Gal Gadot. That's
right.
That's
No, that's the
grandma.
original Wonder Woman,
Oh, okay.
and this was actually a propaganda poster from the War Department in 1947. I think it even says 1947 on it. And you know, our superheroes were the ones out there fighting the Nazis. They were Antifa. We're talking Captain America and Wonder Woman, and they had a whole gamut of, you know, fighters that were fighting the anti-fascists. So it's just, if you look back, you know what, how many years are we now? 100 years, 80 years, 90 years?
80 years.
80 years. Yeah. You know, how far we've come from fighting fascism, you know, beating back fascism, to now accepting it. You know, I feel like I live in a fascist state.
Yeah, it's the new, you know, that we didn't learn from history, obviously, or maybe we did, and people are just waking up to the fact.
Right.
So that's where we're at. No,
Right. So this movie is 48 minutes long. Like I said, you can find it on YouTube. I suggest you go watch it. I watched it and I was just like, they knew back then.
Yeah, I mean, we don't learn much, but it's divide and conquer, and what this guy said in the end, it always benefits someone, and it's not going to be you. And we talked about this morning. It benefits the Amazons. It benefits the Bill Gateses. It benefits the Clinton Foundation. It benefits Elon Musk and all those guys. So that's who it benefits. They brought up the point. I think it was Amber this morning. She said, absolutely. This is somebody asked, why are all these companies supporting the protesters?
Right.
Because why? Because profit. They're going to make money with this.
Well, Amazon's good because they sent out an email telling everybody that they stand with Black Lives Matter. So keep ordering through Amazon. He's a trillionaire now, right?
Shit. Yeah, he's taking advantage of the situation in the worst way instead of really coming out and, this is X, Y, and Z. This is why we're here today, because of the policies that our politicians have put in place. And the latest one was giving the biggest wealth punch up to the most wealthy on the damn planet. So they're not working for you. They're working for them.
And the politicians work for them, not for us.
That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely. Do you want to go to another slide, or do we have another?
Yeah, slide? let's see what my next slide is.
All right. Hi, everybody.
I'm slow today, guys. I just got back from a long protest marching. I'm sunburnt. I got blisters on my feet, but I stood for democracy. I stood for what was right today. So
yeah,
I feel good. I'm just tired.
You brought your granddaughter with you, and she was right there. How old is Hunter? She's 10.
Hunter is 7, and Hunter has been on the front line since she is 3 with me. She has fought for all kinds of different things, and this gives me hope because today I saw lots of children out on that front line, and I saw young people. That means they understand, and they're so much further ahead than we were. I didn't know any of this at that age. I did not have a clue. You want to come say hi? Come say hi.
Hi, Hunter.
Okay.
Hi, Hunter.
Finish your show.
Hi, Hunter. Yeah, shoot. Are we going after John King here next? Is that the next?
Yes, we're going to go CNN, because if we're going to feature Fox, let's hear what CNN is saying about Brickgate.
Oh, shit. Fox, CNN, 220, 221, pop culture. Okay, there we go.
Sound like Rain Man.
Yeah, that's me.
Antifa are in fact coming from elsewhere, and the president's family buying into this online deceit. Let's bring in CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan. Donnie, walk us through what's happening here.
That's right, John. On Sunday, the president went as far as saying he would label Antifa a terrorist organization. Now, with that in mind, a tweet began circulating on Sunday evening into Sunday night, and I think we can bring it up on screen. It came from an account that said they were Antifa America, and it said, "Alert, tonight's the night, comrades. Tonight we say F the city and we move into residential areas, the white hoods, and we take what's ours." Now, that is obviously a clear call to violence, but we have learned since over the past 24 hours, Twitter telling us that account was not actually run by Antifa at all. It was, in fact, actually run by white nationalists, a known white supremacist group. Now, it's important to say that, that doesn't mean that Antifa isn't involved in any violence here in any way, but what it does confirm is suspicions that white nationalists have been jumping on the Antifa movement in ways to try and stoke tension. And that tweet picked up a lot of traction. In fact, it got picked up by the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., who shared the tweet from Antifa with his 2.8 million Instagram followers, obviously believing it was real. And he said, "Absolutely insane." This was his commenting on the tweet. "Just remember what Antifa really is, a terrorist organization. They're not even pretending anymore." Now, when we reached out for comment, there was no comment from Trump Jr. He has removed that post from his Instagram this morning, and there is obviously no suggestion whatsoever that he knew who was behind this. Like all of us, he probably fell for some online misinformation here. So it's very important, I think, that we all know, as we see posts from all sides of the political spectrum across all social media platforms, to be very critical of what you're looking at, and things may not be what they seem.
things may not be what they seem. It's not the first time the president's son has
You can go
either
ahead and cut
retweeted
it
or
there.
reposted or
I don't
commented
know
on
if I
something.
actually put the cut on
Yeah,
that one.
you did. It was running a little bit long, but did Donald Trump Jr.'s son get the same? Does he have the same source of information that Whoopi Goldberg has about Dr. Jill Stein being the Surgeon General? It sounds like the same thing with Antifa, or is that too much of a reach?
Right. You know, I love the comment. I'm not sure who said it, but they said, oh, CNN wants to clear things up so they can create their own propaganda. And that's exactly what it is. Oh, yeah. I wish I had more time because I would have brought a lot more clips with me tonight, because there actually is clips of CNN out there actually trying to put this on Antifa before it was proven that this account was actually white nationalists. You know, of course, Twitter's going to give them up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What are we looking at here? Is this a picture of the cops with the unloading the bricks out of their car?
Yeah, this is the cops in Boston who, you know, to be clear, somebody sent me this clip. I think Suzanne Murphy maybe, or maybe it was you, Oz. But Facebook tagged it as false news or false information, and all it was a live stream, exactly what you guys saw with somebody in an apartment complex, you know, videotaping it. So now live streams are fake news. I mean, our eyes are lying to us.
Well, they're probably saying, oh, they set that up, they stole the police truck.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that could be a mock-up, I guess, but you know, those look like cops to me. There's a certain, whatever.
Like cops to me, and they're not putting the bricks. They're not putting the bricks in the vehicle, because somebody said to me, well, they were gathering up the bricks and getting them out of there so nobody could throw them. And I said, yeah, but they're taking them out of the vehicle. They're not putting them in the vehicle.
Yeah, why would you take them out in a place where there's a bunch of buildings? Maybe they're taking them over to the garbage can and throwing them there. Whatever. But
so yeah, they keep blaming this on Antifa. You know, I'm going to tell you, I have been an activist on the front lines for 5 years. I have been around some pretty radicalized people. No joke. I have been around the anarchists, and I've been around self-identified Antifa. And actually, I have a very good friend who was charged in Portland for inciting a riot. He's looking at a lot of time, because he was down there to oppose the Proud Boys, and they're destroying his life because he's a self-identified Antifa. But never in all of my time of organizing have I came across any organized cells that are, like organizing and moving across the country. I mean, I think the Antifa that I've encountered have just been people who identify as anti-fascists. It's like Chris Hedges says, I don't fight fascists to win. I fight fascists because they're fascists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the I didn't know what the hell it was. I can't keep up with all these groups, but Antifa, anti-fascist. Yeah, I'm not pro-fascist, so I guess I'd be Antifa, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
if you're not a fascist, you're an anti-fascist, right?
Is that bad? I just
well, according to Trump, now you're a terrorist, and we know how well war on ideology has worked so far. Let's see, the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on Antifa now.
Okay, so this terrorist, I have a hard time getting my mailbox, much less downtown to protest. So I don't know. That's not much of a help here. Are we rolling into this next clip?
Yeah, we're going to roll into the next clip. I think this is the undercover cops that get caught.
Oh, this is good. Popcorn time.
This one's in the beginning. It's a little bit low. The sound is, so you're probably going to have to crank it up. It's somebody's personal live stream, and the screen will get bigger within like a minute. He zooms in.
Promise?
So.
Promise?
I promise.
All right. I'll crank it up as loud as I can get it. That's as loud as I can get it.
It will get louder.
It will get louder, and it'll get bigger. Okay,
yeah.
Shut up, Alex.
He just asked him, "Are you a cop?"
That's not a police truck. Who are you with? What? CNN. Oh, okay. Who are you with?
He said, "Who are you with?" He said, "CNN."
He didn't look like CNN. He looks like a cop. He's trying to blame CNN.
Right. So he asked, is that truck a cop truck that looked like a cop truck? And he goes, no, I'm CNN. And so he's going back.
Well, he might be telling the truth. Cops News Network, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
So now he's going to go back and he's going to check out this vehicle just to see, is it a cop vehicle? Is that guy CNN? Is it a CNN vehicle.
Well, it looks like a cop vehicle, and I'm not even close to it yet.
Exactly.
It's black. Undercover cop vehicle. Look under the grill, man. See if they're little like. Oh, there's a.
Is that the
Oh, there's some friends sitting there.
Oh, but are they in uniform?
No, heck no. You don't wear your uniform out there.
Oh, okay. So they're wearing black though.
You seem like cops.
All black, right?
Yeah,
Antifa.
They look like cops.
You're not. Are you CNN? Your friend just told me you were CNN.
He's
You're
being
not,
funny.
So he lied to me. The guy who just got out of here and was dressed like a protester. I'm just a guy. I'm a.
I love that haircut he's got.
My name's Max.
Right.
So you're undercover cops and you're sending people into the protests who are dressed like protesters, and he's lying to me and telling me he's a journalist, which is very bad for the journalistic profession.
Ah! He rolls out the window. That's going to make him stop talking. I don't need to hear this, man. Quit telling me the truth.
Right. So basically, he asked them, "Are you cops?" They don't deny it. He's like, "Well, your friend said you're CNN." So then they just roll up the window.
I thought.
But you know, this isn't the only video we saw like this.
Oh yeah, this is pretty good. I like this. This is good.
And this is what it takes. It takes us being out on the streets,
Oh,
being
look at the license
observant.
plate.
That's how we got him.
All right, all right. You're toast. You know, I'd almost say play that before the main feature. You know, like the Tom and Jerry cartoons. That's kind of fucking funny. Okay, next.
Melissa, you can find this video on YouTube if you want to try to watch it yourself and turn it up. It's called Undercover Cops.
Undercover
Get Caught.
units lie and pose as protesters, media during George Floyd riot. It's DM Stavi, Russian. It must be a Russian. DMS, capital DMS, and then TAVI. So I don't think it's linked in the. Maybe it is. Maybe it's linked in the rundown. Anyway. Where are we going?
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure. Okay, so the next one is slide 5. Or did we already do slide 5?
Slide
we already
five.
did
Slide six.
5.
Slide
Slide
six.
6. Okay, let's
Slide
go to
six.
slide 6.
Okay, slide 6.
So in this slide, what you're seeing is undercover police officers in the protests. And we know this because they wear armbands to identify each other in the crowd. So either white armbands or red armbands. Wristbands, armbands, and then of course we've seen those crazy little Secret Service earpieces on so many. You know, some say, well, those are just undercover police, but why are they agitating?
Yeah, so they don't want to mess with any. So that instead of having a badge clipped on them, they wear the armbands.
Yes, and you know that's the badge thing was something I wanted to cover too. In multiple cities now, police officers are putting tape over their badges like they do when there's a fallen officer. But this time it's to cover up their badge numbers. So that way, when they're beating on people, you know, pepper spraying them, shooting them, you can't get their numbers. And we saw this in Seattle. We saw this in multiple different places.
Yeah, Melissa yelled at me because I was talking.
I know. She told us to quit talking. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, just link it and turn it up. I'm sorry, Melissa.
It was really low.
It was really low. I mean, we couldn't even hear it. So,
Right.
yeah. So I'm queuing up the next one. Is that going to be the? Is that the Boogaloo thingy?
The Boogaloos.
The Boogaloo. What is the Boogaloo?
Okay, let's talk about Boogaloos. So I had never heard the term as of 2 weeks ago what a Boogaloo was. And so I just started researching online Boogaloo. And oh my God, these people are fucking scary. That's all I can say about it. I mean, video after video after video of far right-wing extremists. They wear Hawaiian shirts. They have their own flag. And they've been planning for the Civil War, which is going to be a race war for the last 6 months from what I could see online. There's literally thousands of videos of different pro-right groups on YouTube. You could plug it in right now and you could come up with hundreds of these. And you know, it's funny because if you type in Antifa, you get videos from news coverage like CNN or Fox talking about Antifa, but you don't actually get videos from people calling themselves Antifa, but you sure do for the Boogaloos. So we're going to roll into this Boogaloo video. This is a bulletin, safety bulletin that was put out by the Baltimore police to be on the lookout for this far-right extremist group?
Yeah,
and this is a right-wing guy that's talking about it.
Okay, tell me where to cut this because you got it.
I think we can just let this one play.
Okay, it's 4:47.
We got
Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. Thank you to Gun Pro Deals for being the sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much. Your support for this channel has helped in the worst times and can only help as times are getting better. Thank you, Nate and the crew. Check them out. They still have some of those XM42 light flamethrowers in silver. And he told me yesterday that they have Strybog, depending on how you want to say it, in stock, and they will sell out. I put those on my Instagram. Also, over the last couple days, I've actually put out a couple of their sales on my Instagram, and you can swipe up and have a link to it because you can't do that stuff here. So thank you, Gun Pro Deals, for sponsoring today's news. And, you know, I was going to do something different today because it's my daughter's birthday, and we're setting up our own quarantine water park outside. But I just got this across the interwebs, and I thought that I'd bring this out to you. So I can say this because according to this document that I'm going to quote, which I have not verified on my own yet because I am not at work. Now what I want to tell you is, and I'll show the pictures here as I say it, but the ATF Baltimore branch has put out a safety bulletin for information only about the Boogaloo movement. That's right. It says the ATF Baltimore, in conjunction with the Baltimore Police Department, has observed social media postings on private social networking sites associated with the Boogaloo movement that mention violence against federal and local law enforcement officials. The Boogaloo movement consists of individuals that identify with extreme pro-Second Amendment rights. That's also called freedom in the Constitution. You know, but the people who want to change everything to socialism don't want you to know that. I'll continue. They believe a second civil war is imminent and frequently speak of using violence to overthrow the government. In alignment with their Second Amendment views, members of this movement are likely to possess multiple types of weapons because it's 100% legal and it's the Constitution. It has been observed that some individuals associated with this group may wear clothing that mirrors military-style apparel, which can also closely resemble that of a law enforcement uniform. They then show, and I apologize for the quality of this picture, but this is what was sent to me. Then they also show this flag, and it says individuals associated with or in support of the movement may possess a flag similar to the one above. Please note the igloo and Hawaiian patterns, as seen above, are symbolic indicators associated with the Boogaloo movement. Then it says this in bright red, this information alone should not constitute probable cause and is being sent for officer awareness only. That's because it's freedom, right? It's legal to have a gun. Disgusting part is that there is a very, and we know this, there is a very strong populace of people who think that that's not the way it is because they stopped teaching that stuff in school, and parents have stopped teaching their kids this stuff. And they think that the criminal on the street who's out there gangbanging is how the normal gun owner is, and that's not true. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Don't go crazy posting stuff because you're probably being watched. And usually when stuff comes out from the federal law enforcement level for officer safety stuff, it means that they're already conducting like investigations and stuff like that. So just be careful of what you post out there. If you're posting crazy Boogaloo stuff, just you never know how these people will take it. And don't get yourself red flagged because these communists would love nothing more than to take away your constitutional rights on a whim without due process, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, I just thought that was odd that there's an official officer awareness bulletin out there from the ATF because people are sick and tired of having their rights stripped by government officials who think they have power to do it. Interesting. But file that in the memory banks. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to go back to my daughter's birthday party. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Because
this was the lightest video that I could actually find talking about Boogaloo to share with you guys, because some of these guys are so radical and so extreme. Like, did you see the one I sent you where the guy is holding the AR-15 in his live stream? And I said, do you think I need to start packing heat when I go live because the internet's a crazy place?
Yeah, I thought that was a gag video. What are you trying to do to me here? I mean, it's hard enough listening to this guy try and school me on the Constitution.
Right. But doesn't it scare you? Doesn't it open your eyes to what they're doing? They are organizing. They are talking about this imminent civil war that it is coming. They've been planning for it. They know how to stay underground so that way they're not being flagged. Like he says, don't get yourself flagged. My question is the military looking at these guys? Because we know that the military tends to break on the right side and be the Trump supporters and the Second Amendment right people. So are they bypassing these guys when they could be the terrorist threat and they're going after Antifa?
Well,
What do you think?
I think these guys are helping the cause, aren't they? I mean, they're the ones that are shoring all this crap up. They're no better than the cops themselves that set up bricks and light buildings on fire. So, again, this is just social conditioning. The law enforcement, whoever, is taking advantage of these Second Amendment folks here. My big question to you is how many of these people are actual survivalists? Because I've heard what you said before, and these survivalists have a different code of conduct.
They do.
So,
And Boogaloo is split kind of right down the middle from what I can see. About half are survivalists and anti-government type of people, and the other half are pro-Trump, pro-gun, pro-America,
Yeah, and you're the communist they're referring to?
I'm the communist. I'm a socialist. What else did he call us in that?
Jeez, I'm a cook. I'm a cook.
What floors me is how scared they are of the radical left. Like, oh, we're not the gun packers. We're not the ones that threaten people. We are love and kumbaya. So this rhetoric that they constantly put out that we are so dangerous and we're coming for them and we're coming for their weapons. I never can understand it.
Well, who are they talking about, the radical left? Is that Jilly or Melissa or is it Schultz?
Schultz had some good comments in here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Yeah, who are the radical left? Is it what's supposed to be Antifa, right?
Yeah, I thought so. But, I think Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are the radical left, right? No, they're not the radical. Yeah, they are the
Joe
radical
Biden,
left.
Hillary Clinton.
Joe Biden, yeah. Barack Obama, they're the radical left, right, to us, because we just want, peace, love, rock and roll, and justice for all.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Right. So it turns out that I did a little research of where the heck did Boogaloo come from. Boogaloo was, there's actually the Boogaloo movement will tell you they don't know exactly where it came from, but a lot of them subscribe to that it came from the 1985 sequel to the movie Breaking. If you remember this breakdancing movie from 1985, there was a sequel called Electric Boogaloo. And that's where they say the name came from. But yet I've seen a few extremists say that it goes all the way back to the Civil War. I don't know how it relates to the Civil War, but that's what they like to say. So, I had never heard of Boogaloo, and to have all of these bricks mysteriously showing up at the same time that this big movement on the far right has been rising up over the last couple of months. And I'm telling you, go look online for the videos. In the last 6 months, this group has been very, very active, constantly putting up, the world's coming to an end, civil war is coming, race war is coming, be ready, have your guns ready, don't let the man take your guns.
So they're fomenting hate and all that other stuff, right?
Right. And so I got to ask, how many of them are dressed in all black and out in these protests of being provocateurs?
Yeah, why wouldn't you wear what your enemy's wearing so you could kind of blend in with them? I don't get this. So you're saying a group. Isn't this just like another gang?
Right. But they're not even on the radar, other than they're on the police radar, obviously, because they put that safety bulletin out for police. But, Trump's ready to crack down on Antifa. How come we're not talking about these extremist right groups like Proud Boys? And
yeah. And again, I want to point out, what are the Dems talking about? Because I don't hear anything from them. We hear all the gob that's coming out of Piehole's head. Anyway, I don't know. Do we have another?
We've seen the left supporting the Antifa narrative, saying that yes, it's Antifa that's causing all these problems and burning all these buildings down, and starting these riots.
Well, it's just like that clown on Fox News. They were actually taking parts of the truth with them putting the bricks out there and twisting the narrative to where, yeah, but these protesters have incendiary devices and they're doing all this and they have weapons and all this other shit. That is totally unfounded for the most part, that I believe. What you see, anarchists may have that, and those anarchists could be anywhere from cops to electric boogaloo to whoever else, whatever anarchists out there. So they're just spewing propaganda or social conditioning, right?
Right. Melissa, that's a really good question. Melissa H asks, but how do they feel about all African Americans getting assault weapons? Now, I'm going to tell you, I came across a very disturbing video while I was down this rabbit hole, and it was of a radicalized Black man who is the self-professed leader of the Boogaloos, and, which is shocking. It was confusing, to say the least. I don't know where he was coming from, and I don't know if he's welcomed by the others. I gotta say, maybe in his little cell, but I don't know the bigger picture on that one. But that's a great question. This was my first trip down this rabbit hole. I had only heard of Boogaloos a couple of days ago. So, help me out, guys. Get down those rabbit holes and find some information. That's why we put it out there, because it's up to us to go and find this information, because mainstream media is not going to do it for us.
Well, now, here's my problem. You talked about Boogaloo, right? Boogaloos, and that's from a movie. What was the name of the movie?
It was called Breakin', which was, the original movie was called Breakin'. It came out in 1985. And I remember this movie as a kid. It was about a bunch of break dancers, and they all live in a house, and they do the music montage, and they fix the house up and whatnot. But the second one, because I think it has something to do with the whole sequel, the fact that Civil War would be a sequel. And so the Boogaloo is alluding to a sequel, basically.
And this is all serious stuff, because
all serious. Yeah.
All I'm getting in my head is Electric Avenue. Now I'm so confused.
You want to rock on down to Electric Avenue?
I guess. I don't know. Jesus, what are they going to come out with? The Mouseketeers throwing bricks next, or what?
Right. And not that I say I have any fact that Boogaloo, I mean, we do have lots of video of Boogaloo actually being out on the streets during all of this. I did see a video of Boogaloo protecting the Alamo 2 days ago. And there was quite a few African Americans protesting in front of the Alamo, and they Boogaloo were packing their guns, whatever you want, whatever they are. And they pretty much told the protesters, look, we don't care what the hell you guys burn down in this city, but you're not going to burn down monuments. So if you want to go down and, they said, if you want to go down and burn the police station, we're down with you for that.
This wasn't Alamo Rent-A-Car. It was a monument.
No, it was the actual Alamo.
Okay.
So this was Texas.
Texas. Okay. Yeah. Cause I've seen, they're taking down some Confederate monuments, and I didn't know if that was part of it.
I thought they put those back up, the ones in Georgia that they ripped down.
I think they're taking another one down. Somebody's riding a horse backwards or something in Alabama. I have no idea, but I just saw that the other day, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to even touch on that one. I think that's in a personal opinion, because I'm such a history lover. I do understand some of these statues. I won't say monuments, because I don't think it should be a monument to a racist or
monument, a historical statue. Is that what we call them?
A historical site, maybe, but some of these things have got to go, and I don't blame them.
Like this bad shit happened here, so we're going to remind you till the end of time, but you're not going to learn from it, and you're going to do it all over again, right?
Yeah, I did hear that they were burning down the building for the Daughters of the Confederates. So, they've been around for 260 years, 240 years.
Oh, the Confederate ones, but the Daughters of the Revolution was
Daughters of the
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Anyway, do we have?
Okay. So Boogaloo, check it out. Somebody said they came in late. What's Boogaloo? Boogaloo is a far right extreme group that could or could not be the people provocatoring these riots across the country.
Or
I'm not going to allude and say they are, but they could be.
They're at least helping, right?
they definitely have a plan, and they definitely want civil war, and they want it to be a race war.
So take a number with everybody else who's coming in anarchy-wise while the nonviolent protests are going on. So mess it all up. So the mainstream media has their optics, and they can twist it any way they want, right?
Right. And that's exactly that's why I showed you the Fox News and the CNN news. You will not see me drop in Fox links and CNN links very often, but I wanted to give you guys a well-rounded picture of who's saying what.
Yeah, and then we got the Second Amendment dude. I think I'm going to go have to take a shower.
I didn't even show you the bad one.
I don't want to see the bad one, damn it. Oh, my God. So how are we doing out in the chat? People are still chatting it up.
Yeah, I'm kind of just getting ready to go through them. We're going to Boogaloo to Electric Avenue. Haha.
Yeah, well, that was me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. My brain circuitry is not quite wired right. I even told Laura Livingood and John Ellis that, and they said, we know. So anyway, that's just the way it is.
Right.
I'm
okay.
I've been
so
sitting
what are
on
we
this
getting onto?
Winter on Fire clip. Is that next, or am I lost?
Yeah, we're getting, well, yeah, because that was going to be my last clip. That's fine. Yeah, let's roll it now, and then
Okay.
we'll
I don't
get
want to
into
push you.
closing.
I just didn't know if I was.
No. I just want to make sure I'm on time. You know, I'm a very punctual person.
Oh yeah, you're on time. You got at least 12 minutes left. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Winter on Fire. Ukraine's fight.
Oh, I should have set it up.
European Union leaders and Ukraine have failed to sign an historic...
Yeah, set this up before I play the whole thing. It's only 17 seconds.
So for those of you who've seen this, you know what this is. This is Winter on Fire. It is the story of the Ukraine revolution in December of 2013 and it went into 2014. Basically, provocateurs, just like we're seeing now, and militarized police took on a whole country, and they stood up. They did million-man marches. They took to the streets, and sadly, things turned very revolutionary in that country. And by watching this movie, you're going to find out kind of who was poking the bear on this one, who was stirring the pot. And America had a lot of investment in this. So I'm not going to just come out and say, I think it's this person doing it or it's this group doing it. But I'm giving you the pieces to figure out who I think it is.
So it's either Putin or the United States, right?
Oh, it's always Putin, right?
Oh, never mind. Here we go. Thanks for setting that up. Now I understand.
Free trade deal after a last-minute U-turn from Kiev.
Вы сказали, вроде бы как бы работали в этом направлении.
Мы тут, щоб до вас еще Украина, это дійсно Европа.
Когда уже начали собираться студенты, стало понятно, что это уже, что здесь что-то будет происходить.
Хотели на корне сразу это все поломать, задавить, сразу, чтобы даже никому повадно не было. Но реакция оказалась обратная.
Ми не боїмося смерті заради свободи.
Майдан – це голос народу. Голос народу – це голос Божий.
Слава Україні!
So I watched this movie originally in 2016, and it was so shocking to me to see the everyday people of a country literally becoming militarized and fighting back against militarized police. And when I say militarized, the people they were using everything they could to fight, pulling sheet metal off of it's crazy because it was spurred kind of in the same way as what we're seeing in the United States now. I want to say 2 or 3 women were brutally attacked, And the people were just tired of it. Their children's future had been taken away by corrupt politicians, which the U.S. were backing. And so they got this guy recalled 4 years earlier, but then he got elected again, and he was just destroying their country. He's in bed with all the corrupt global elites, just like everybody is. And they took to the streets, and it just started out with a couple hundred in the beginning, and then 1,000 showed up. And the police turned violent on them. And then, so the more they would beat the children of the Ukraine, the more people would turn out. And basically, like the kid says in the movie, he says, I saw there was a protest on Facebook. I closed my laptop and I didn't open my laptop again for a month and a half. So basically, they went out to protest. They're on the streets, and they end up staying there because the police were so violent and so militarized. I mean, we're full headgear, riot gear, batons, just annihilating these people. And they had no qualms about killing them. I mean, it's a very graphic movie. You're watching young men just get their heads blown off right in front of you by police. These are protesters. So they get mad and they fight back, and they become soldiers, and they literally are fighting their government. They're fighting the police, and the people of the Ukraine supported them, and they just came out in droves. It was over 1 million of them in the streets fighting back. It's hard to watch, but I used to think, wow, how could something like that happen here? But if you watch that video now, those scenes that we just saw are very reminiscent of what we've been seeing the last 2 weeks, last week and a half.
Yeah, I just watched that. It was about 1:50, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, that's real time in English. This is what's happening right now before our eyes. I mean, we don't see people getting their heads decapitated, or is that actually happening? But we see people kneeling down, getting shot to death. We see that one car with that one guy got out, his wife was pregnant, and they had tear gassed the car at the intersection, and then he gave him shit. He said, my wife's, and then they just opened up on him with their little pepper pistols, and he got back in the car and drove off. But this can be escalated by all these outside anarchists that you're talking about. So we are destabilizing as a country, are we not?
We are. We absolutely are. And so, my most important message tonight is boots on the ground. We got to be out there, but we got to be peaceful. We have got to be nonviolent, civil disobedience, and we have to be protective of one another, and not just go home and say it's okay that you've unleashed the military on American soil. It's not okay that police are allowed to murder without any accountability at all. We have to train our police in de-escalation, because we are quickly slipping into a country we don't want to be.
So you're saying that me putting hashtag Black Lives Matter and things, that's not
those are
activism.
important. I mean, I think that's important to do. I
was being sarcastic because that's not activism. T, our jojoba girlfriend the other day, remember you were on, I think.
Right.
She said that's not activism. My white friends calling me and checking on me is not for me, it's for them, to make them feel better, like they're doing something, and they're not. So we have to step up, those of us who can. And some of us can't because we're either too damn old, we can't walk. But if you go out and do something, at least support in some way. We've got to go beyond this bubble, this internet bubble here on Rockfin and YouTube and Facebook.
Our echo chambers.
Yeah, our echo chambers, because we're not getting the reach, because we're throttling down. We're getting throttled down on everything. So that's great. Be strong on social media, because we are kind of the experts because we've been doing it for years and years and years and years. But we have to rise above that level. That is a low bar, folks. And I know that a lot of you are getting out there, like Chanda does, and Amber and Rhonda and the rest of them. So that's where we're at there. So I'll shut up now.
Absolutely, Oz. I can't agree. I say, put those posts up. If you can't get out, it is important to get those posts up. Even if you're just reaching one or two people in your family that are Trump supporters, you're at least still putting it out there. I believe in, one stick, two sticks, we're stronger together. So definitely keep doing that. But yeah, we got to get out to these protests, and we've got to be supportive, and we got to push back. We can't allow Trump to unleash the military on this country, not just because of what it's going to do to us, the citizens, but what's it going to do to our military boys? These are our sons. These are our daughters. And they're being told to turn on their country and on their people. And I just see such terrible things down the line if we keep down this road.
Yeah, don't wait for Joe Biden. He is not the solution to this.
No.
Joe Biden is the antithesis of a solution. That's it, because, no matter you think, oh, we'll get Joe Biden in, everybody will be happy and they'll go back to sleep. No, I believe I think the straw has broken the camel's back here. So with the pandemic, with the murders of our sisters and brothers of all colors, people of color, we can't have this anymore. So,
No, I freaking agree. I'm looking for freedom is something that dies unless used. Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
And so if we don't get out there and we don't fight for it and we don't demand that it's ours and think of the blood that's been spilt over the last 244 years.
Right.
We have an obligation to push back and to fight back against tyranny, against fascism, against everything that we're seeing right now, racism, economic injustice,
everything, our economy,
environmental,
the planet's burning up. And, it's not just Hunter S. Thompson. It's Chris Hedges, people like Chris Hedges. I mean, these people know what they're talking about. Noam Chomsky, Amen. Even though Chris and Noam vary on some things, they're pretty much in unison on this. We are losing what democracy we have left because it's been bought. It's been bought by the corporate oligarchy. And if you let this happen, I'm not going to be happy telling you I told you so, because I'll probably be dead. But, I'm thinking about the kids, the future, the planet, the birds and the bees and the seas and the skies and everything else. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to let you finish up here. I think we had a pretty good show.
I'm just kind of going through the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all your comments. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, I'm kind of low energy tonight. I'll be back to myself tomorrow.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock in the Daily Dive. Shanda's going to be all charged up and ready to go. So
I will be. So what shows do we got coming up, Oz? We got the dive tomorrow, but we got anything good for this weekend?
Got the Icky Dive. We got No Joke with Marcus and Dennis from Germany via Olympia, Washington. And then we got PDPR with Larry Taylor. We're going to have an announcement pretty soon. It's getting closer and closer and closer. And we got the Accidental Activist.
I'm so excited.
On Sunday, we have the Accidental Activist, and we're going to have a good show with you again on Sunday. And we are going to be running live on Rockfin in unison with YouTube and the other channels. So please check it out. Sign up at Rockfin for free. And they don't box our ears when we play a song that's a cover 50,000 times over here on Rockfin. So, join us.
Yeah. The fascist YouTube, right?
Yeah, fascist
Okay,
YouTube.
guys. So that's my trip down the rabbit hole. Like I said, I didn't want to give you any opinions. I'm going to let you guys loose on these new terms like Boogaloo, and I'll let you go figure it out for yourselves. I definitely will recommend watching The Winter on Fire on Netflix. It's an amazing documentary. So we're going to close out the night. I've got a great song, great cover, Buffalo Springfield. I think it really speaks to where we're at right now. I know it's an oldie but a goodie, but you know what? Things haven't changed. So here we are still. So have a good night. We'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, we'll see you in the morning. This gal's got a great voice.
Yeah, she does.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. It's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds. what's going down. Better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Better stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Better stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.